Matt Joseph easily took the 2020 college football crown at Sports Memo, picking up plus 71% in profit for his clients, winning 62% of his college selections with a final record of 98, 59, and 3. For unlimited time, you can get the first 4 college football weekends starting on Saturday, August 28, 2021, and running through Saturday, September 25th, 2021, for only $149 versus a regular price of $330. As an added bonus, we'll include any NFL side, total, or prop plays Matt releases during this time at no additional charge.
Welcome into First Pitch for Wednesday. Tony, Slick, Finn, Mid-Major Matt, and I breaking down 4 games. We got best bets at the end. First up here, Matt Joseph, sportsmemo.com. Follow him on Twitter at Mid-Major Matt. 5% winner last night. He's hot on the diamond. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday morning to you, Matt.
Yeah, Drew, I don't really release a lot of 5%. 5 so far this season, not 5 in a week, not 5 in a month. I'm very selective when it comes to this stuff, and it was an easy winner on the Texas Rangers team total under last night. Texas just not hitting the ball very well. Detroit, the bullpen pitching pretty well. So nice little stretch here on MLB, hoping to continue it today.
Absolutely interested in your opinion, not only on sides and totals, strikeout props as well. And last, certainly not least, Tony Finn, straight from Las Vegas, Nevada. Tony, happy Wednesday morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a good day. It's a little cooler here. I think we're only going to be hit about 105 today, so it's a good day to go out for a marathon jog or something, right?
Yeah, it is. Hopefully you can stay cool sometime, Finn, but not cool on the diamond. Guys, first game up, we get the Miami Marlins and the Washington Nationals here. NL East showdown as we get the Fetty going for the Washington Nationals here. Former first rounder from UNLV, actually, interestingly enough, talking about Las Vegas here. Matt, and the Miami Marlins was slated to have Sandy Alcantara, their ace here, although he had a death in the family and has been pulled. We have to be determined as of right now. Matt, I'll throw it over to you for kind of your thoughts on the game, maybe a little bit of line projection here, because we will get a line out. I haven't seen one since. It did open, minus 110, minus 120 for the Nationals. That was with Alcantara on the hill, so you got to think it's going to be a lot steeper with the new pitcher when it is selected here, Matt. But what are you thinking the Marlins and Nationals tonight?
I mean, I don't really do line projections, so I'm guessing that it's going to be Jordan Holloway here. I think Jordan Holloway is probably going to get the start. He's a guy who could go a couple of innings if they're planning on doing a Johnny Holstaff today, or he could go a bunch of innings because he has done so. So I'm guessing it's going to be Jordan Holloway. The thing that's annoying to this is that because the Marlins haven't put out a starter yet, there's nothing, you can't bet on all the major sports books on the game, and I'm dying for the Eric Fetty K-prop today. When you look at Eric Fetty's numbers going up against the Marlins have the 6th highest K rate against right-handers, the 1st highest K rate this month at 27.5%, and the 2nd highest on the road. Fetty's one of these sneaky guys that he'll put in a couple of efforts with 5 or 6 strikeouts, so I'm ideally looking for a 4.5 here to take the over. Also looking to take the Marlins team total under. Fetty's bad enough that we might get a 4 or a 4.5 here. The Marlins just aren't hitting the ball. We've talked about before with Jazz Chisholm out, with Anderson out, with Cooper out. There's just not a lot of bats in this lineup. So I'm looking to target the Marlins team total under, and I'm looking to target Fetty's K-prop over if it's 4.5.
Okay, good stuff there. And Tony, something about Fetty here. He's the Las Vegas native. In his last 4 starts, 20 earned runs, only 14 innings, 11 strikeouts, and 11 walks. He has not been good of late. Like, if you're circling a pitcher to go up against this Marlins squad, you'd probably select a lot more pitchers before Fetty. However, like Matt's point here, the Marlins lineup is just awful right now. Finn, what are you looking to do with tonight's game in the NL East?
I agree with Matt. I mean, he hasn't been very good. I think before we came on air, I talked a little bit about Fetty's numbers. His last start was since coming back from his hiatus, let's call that, his in whatever you want to call that. From April 12th to June 18th, he was 2.54 on the ERA, if you use that, 1.01 WHIP. He had struck out 48 in 49 2/3, but he was hit hard. his first start back and struggled in his last 4 outings. So, but I agree, Matt's right. This is a pretty good spot. While you said it's a good spot for Miami, I think it's even a better spot for Fetty to kind of rebound a little bit and get back on track. So we'll see what the announcement is. And I'm like Matt, I'm curious as to what Fetty's going to be on the money line. So.
Oh yeah, and Tony, I didn't mean to say it was a good spot for the fish tonight. I actually think it's a terrible spot for the fish. I mean, kind of to Matt's point here.
Yeah.
Well, it's just you look at their lineup. I mean, Matt touched on this, Tony.
Yeah.
Going into the season, it wasn't a very deep lineup at all. And then now it's almost like the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Their AAA lineup is now their major league lineup outside of Adam Duvall, Aguilar, and Sterling Marte. There's just not a lot of MLB, in my opinion, MLB caliber bats here. This is a lineup I'm looking to fade. I bet the Nationals in the first 2 games. I'm going to bet the Nationals here again today in some form or fashion. I'm just worried they're going to go north of minus 200 tonight.
Well, I think that would be. I think that's a logical guess or estimation on your part to say that, because as Matt described too, if they're going to go bullpen, then you might get a little under 200, but I don't see much of that. I'm a guy that's faded Lester all year, and I didn't back. We talked about this on a couple shows, but I didn't back Lester in game 1 of that on Monday. I played the under, and hell, the Nationals took me over the total in the first 2 innings of that game. I got a 9.5. I think is what I got, which I thought was a good number. And Miami did their part; they scored 1 run. It was the Nationals decided to put up 18 in the game. So yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, this is a spot where if Miami's going to hit the ball at all, maybe it's Fetty, maybe he's not right. Listen, we haven't had a lot of evidence to say otherwise since he's been back. So we'll see. But I'm with you guys. I'm with you on all these fronts here, and we'll see what the money line opens up at.
Yeah, and as a little line projection here, I mean, going out on a limb, you can always look like a kind of an idiot here, but it was minus 110, I believe, was the opener here. It was Fetty against Alcantara. Alcantara, one of the better pitchers in the National League. So now that he was, the death in the family, it's a sad situation. But in terms of line projection here, I really do think it's going to be the Nationals at a heavy, heavy favorite here. And I'd still look to bet them. They're the hottest lineup in baseball. And I'm looking to fade the fish until further notice here, guys, over the next couple weeks with some of their lineup issues. Also 82 degrees in the nation's capital. And we were joking around with Joe Ranieri right before starting the show, what would the total be in this game? And if the total's 8, you got to think the Washington Nationals team total is probably, 7 or 8 at least. If the total's 10 anyway, the Nationals team total is going to be a large portion of that. So it will be interesting to see where these lines come out. But guys, it sounds like it would be the Nationals or pass. And to Matt's point, maybe Fetty in the strikeout prop towards the over. So we got next game up here, guys, moving down the list, the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. Michael Pineda and Dylan Cease here going for the White Sox. Tony, minus 150 favorites here. The Sox at home, total of 9, little juice towards the over, 8:10 Eastern, 75 degrees on the south side. What are you looking to do here? Twins and White Sox, Tony.
Well, Pineda was bombed his last time out, and against the White Sox, he's been hit pretty hard. And not hard, but the X velocity's been high. Home runs have been plentiful. Anderson has 3 bombs in 18 at bats lifetime against Pineda, and he sets the table for this offense of the White Sox, and as hot and cold as they can be. This White Sox team, they're hard. Not to be either on or be away from in this situation. Again, the starter for Dylan Cease for the White Sox has been really. I mean, in July he's had 2 horrible starts out of the 3, and a guy that there's still a lot of question marks on what he is and what he can be. I still think he can be a lot as he gets older, but at this point in time, it's very difficult for me to fade the White Sox. But it's also hard for me to be on Cease at this price today, which is at the latest price I saw was maybe somebody can help me here. Oh yeah, and listen, $150 is. I mean, it may not sound like a lot, but it's a lot for me to be laying on Cease and what he's done in July.
And guys, follow Mid-Major Matt on Twitter at Mid-Major Matt. He puts out a lot of good K props out there. And Matt, the reason I say that, last night I did a video on Twitter, guys. It's a little bit probably more exciting of a entertaining view of my view on this game in terms of the Twins and the White Sox towards the over. Matt, the reason I'm betting this over is because both lineups have seen the opposing pitcher multiple times with success. Middle of the pack bullpens here, and the Twins, very surprisingly anyway, I think it's riding under the radar in terms of kind of the mainstream view of this in the betting world. 57-34 towards the over, speaking towards this Minnesota Twins team. I think the total of 9 is just too low. I see double-digit runs tonight. What do you think of tonight in the AL Central?
Well, you're right. I mean, this is the third time that Pineda has seen the White Sox, fourth time that Cease has seen the Twins, but Cease is a completely different pitcher at home. He's got an ERA over 6 on the road, and at home it's around 2 in 9 starts, 67 strikeouts to 19 walks. I don't really want to go up against Cease and this thing so far because, as I said, he pitches really well at home. For people who might play player props or DFS, Tim Anderson's 12 for 18 with 3 homers against Pineda in his career. Nelson Cruz is 6 for 11 with a home run against Cease, and Kepler is 4 of 12 with 2 homers in his career against Dylan Cease. So I could see where your over comes into play here. Maybe you want to necessarily play like a White Sox first 5 here, isolating the starting pitchers. I do think Pineda is one of these guys. If you notice his kind of trend when it comes to his strikeouts, he had 5 or more in a bunch of starts. His last 4 starts, 4, 1, 2, and 1. So it's a guy that clearly was using some sort of sticky stuff, and now without his sticky stuff, it's just not working out as well. So his number's around 4.5 or so in the market. You may want to look at the under there because he's clearly a guy who has been affected by the fact that he no longer can use some stuff on his fingers.
He's Mid-Major Matt, 6-3 last night, including his 5% winner, 21-10-2 run in MLB. Check him out, sportsmemo.com. We got an NL rivalry up next in the NL Central. We get the Chicago Cubs at the St. Louis Cardinals here, Matt. 8:15 Eastern, 84 degrees in St. Louis. We get Kyle Hendricks versus Adam Wainwright. Of course, Wainwright, those home road splits in his career, Matt. 2.86 ERA at home, 4.01 ERA, over 200 starts each. So we've seen this. The sample size is big. He is at home, and we've seen the Cardinals take a little bit of money here, Matt. -120 up from -110. A total of 8. What are you thinking here, Cubs and Cards?
I mean, once again, this is another case that you want to potentially probably isolate the first 5. I want nothing to do with the Cardinals' pen. I mean, last night we saw them blow the lead late. Reyes has been so good as a closer, got a sub-2 ERA on the season. He blows the game, and the Cubs get the win. It's one of those things where you can see a carryover of momentum for a team that's probably going to be selling a lot of pieces and before the trade deadline. But there is some momentum here. You look at Hendricks. In the past, Hendricks has been one of those guys you can't play on the road. But now he's starting to get a little bit better on the road. This is his 4th time seeing the Cardinals, a team that does not strike out a ton as a team. He's got 7 strikeouts in 19 innings against them so far this season. You look at 2 guys who have really good numbers against him. Paul Goldschmidt, 12 of 38. Nolan Arenado, 9 of 33 with 3 homers. And then on the other side, Adam Wainwright, you just talked about it at home. He's a really good pitcher. His K-prop is 6.5 with a plus money toward the over. It might be worth a look for a sprinkle on the over, especially at a plus price. He did have 7 strikeouts against the Cubs. They're a top 5 team in all the categories when it comes to K-props, whether it's home, whether it's the last month or so, and right-handers. And the one guy you want to target on the Cubs, Ian Happ, 8 of 17 with 4 homers against Wainwright. But this seems like a 5-inning type of play, trying to get away from the Cardinals bullpen.
Yeah, Cardinals bullpen have been rough here, Tony. And, speaking towards Hendricks, in his last 9 starts, he's been a 6-inning monster. He's gone 6 innings exactly, or 6.1 innings in his last 9 starts. Good numbers, too. Mostly 1 or 2 earned runs given up. So he's been pretty solid of late here, Tony. Has me thinking towards the under. And like Matt's point, staying away from that Cardinals bullpen. Maybe just first 5 under, Tony. What do you think of tonight, Cubs and Cards?
Well, here's 2 teams that are. I mean, let's be honest, guys. If you're going to be 9 innings, as Matt's described, 9 innings is a tough way to go with them, unless you're just unless you like the Cubs or the Cardinals, just to basically put a big margin between them and their division rival. But in this case, really, I'm one of those guys that I think this price is probably one of the more accurate prices on Wainwright. But I'm typically a fade of Wainwright, even if he's at home with the splits he has. The Cardinals don't hit very well. The bullpen, as you guys both have mentioned, they're just not very good. And the Cubs, I wrote an article that I think the Cubs are a team you should stay away from because you never know. One night, three of the best players or three of the guys you're depending on in the lineup may be gone or sitting because they're discussing trade possibilities with him. But in this situation, I'm probably going to be on the guy I trust most in this game. Who do I trust most? That's Hendricks. I mean, it's just who I trust. As you said, he's going to give you 6 innings. Against the Cardinals, he has not had a terrific lifetime numbers, but he hasn't given up a lot of home runs. And if there's a player in this game that I trust, at least to give me a chance to win some of my money back from the counter there from the sports books, it would be the Cubs pitcher here. And being Hendricks, that's the guy I would trust.
All right, and huge shout out to the chat box joining us live Monday through Friday, 1:45 Eastern time, right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel, on Twitter as well. We got Patrick in the house, Abby, Jessica, buenos dias to you two, VIPs here, Joshua Jones as well, Mike Campbell, Spurman in the house, Brian Watson, all you guys, Buck as well. Appreciate all the comments here. You know, there's some comments in terms of Tony, you were saying you were going jogging in Las Vegas over 100 degrees here, and some people saying, I don't know, Tony jogging, you might be bringing your bottle of whiskey there. Are you a jogger, Tony?
I used to do triathlons, but that was in the 1800s that I did triathlons, and it's been about 30 years, 35 years. But I used to run all the time, and I would run at that point in time I was in Dallas, and I would run at noon at one of the hottest times of the day, only because that's what I preferred to do. It was the best for me, and I was never very good. Let me be transparent. I didn't do triathlons because I was good at it. I did it because that's what I wanted to do. At that point in time, I'd quit smoking, I'd quit drinking, and just quit eating red meat. Was kind of trying this health kick. I was about 25, and but I woke up one day, and I lived on an area of Dallas called it's basically a party district there, and
okay.
I woke up one day and said, I'm really tired of this, so I went down to Casablanca and on Lower Greenville and ordered gin and tonic and bought a pack of cigarettes, and here I am.
All right. We're happy that you're here, Tony, getting your opinions on tonight's baseball slate. Also here, Matt, a comment from Daniel saying Bumgarner over 4.5 strikeouts on DraftKings was plus 100 a few hours ago. It's minus 170 now. I know the K-prop market as good as most out there. Man, is it normal to see a 70-point move there in terms of juice on the K-props?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen, it definitely is because, it depends on lineups. There's going to be, if there's a lineup that gets put out and it's a B or C lineup and you've got a pitcher who you think could take advantage of it, then it might be before some of the books move it. And that's why you kind of look and have a bunch of books to check it out because the juice is different. Some books have props, some books don't have props and things like that. So I've seen that kind of move before. It's something. Now, the one thing to caution when it comes to Bumgarner is the Pirates, these last 2 days withstanding, have been a team that don't strike out a ton. 29 of their last 42 opposing pitchers have had 5 strikeouts or less. So Bumgarner's been in good form. Second start off the IL. He should be good, but the Pirates also at times have been a tough team to strike out.
All right, we got McGinnis joining us as well. Welcome in, McGinnis, there, WagerTalk.com. And some people really having fun with your comments here, Tony. And maybe the comment of the day here from Jeremy B. Seems like Tony is more of a speed walker, not so much of a jogger. That was a good one there, Jimmy.
I'm really getting old. I'm really getting old, aren't I? It's like because I still see myself as Speedy Gonzalez personally. I just dash around the house and get as much done as I can, hoping that Joe Veneri, he won't blister me because I'm late or something like that. So I'm doing the best I can, Joe.
No, you're doing fine, Tony. And guys, we do have one game left. Best bets at the end. Thanks for all the comments here in the chat box. Good stuff here, guys. So Brent finishing it off here with Tony, Forrest Gump, Finn. But we got the San Francisco Giants, LA Dodgers, last game up here. It is the nightcap on the slate. And for the show, we get Logan Webb versus Urias, the lefty, minus 150 favorites here for the Dodgers. Total of 8. Tony, coming to you first here, 10:10 Eastern, 81 degrees projected in LA. What are you thinking here, Giants and Dodgers?
I want to reference real quickly what you just discussed as far as juice on K-props, and I'll even throw in Matt here. I like Urias today to be over the K-props. I thought maybe it would be 5.5 or 6. It would be 5.5 or 6.5 with him. And when I went to some of the sites, the first place I went was Penny, and believe it or not, he was over. And I'm going to make a mistake if I don't look at it, but I believe it was over. He was over 5.5. Strikeouts, but the juice was minus 175. So of course, I like the umpire here. I like the K's in this game. So I liked Webb too to be over, and Webb was much lower because there's a concern how many innings he's going to pitch, right? But he was over 4.5 at plus money. So that's really the one I liked both of them today. So I chose the plus money instead of having to lay the. Let's see what it is right now. Minus 169 it's down to. But still, that's a little too juicy for me to be on a K-prop. But I'm sure Matt would. I don't know if he lays that kind of juice, but as many K-props he does, I'm guessing that he probably would stray away from that kind of juice. So in this game, I like the Giants as a dog here with Webb. Still a lot of questions about Webb. What we do know about Urias is that he's had 2 starts against San Fran. One was really good. One was not very good. But the time that he did start, the first one against San Fran this year, I believe he had 10 strikeouts against no walks in a nice win for him. So that said, San Francisco's been very competitive. I expect him to be competitive. I expect Webb to probably be at his best tonight after 3 innings and 4 innings to come back from not pitching at all in June. I like the dog here at this price against the left-handed Urias that for me, it's always been a little bit of hit and miss for me. So go with the dog.
Tony, Slick, Speed, Walker, Finn in with the dog play on the nightcap. By the way, guys, number 1 and number 2 here in terms of record-wise in Major League Baseball in the nightcap. Both 2 good starting pitchers here, Matt. 2 good bullpens as well. This is going to be a highly bet game. What are you thinking tonight in the nightcap?
Well, I'm on Logan Webb's over 4.5 strikeouts, and I got it even money. And so I'm very happy to see that, and kind of some numbers to go along with that. He's gone over this 6 times so far this season, including 7 strikeouts against the Dodgers on the road back in May 29th. Pitchers have gone over this number in 9 of their last 13 games against the Dodgers. The reason why I don't say starting pitchers is because Jordan Holloway actually went over this number as a reliever, as a long reliever. So that's a reason why. But 9 of their last 13, and you look at the Dodgers hitters, 15 strikeouts and 47 career at-bats against Logan Webb. So I was able to get 4.5 at even money. So that was a nice little get there. And it's a guy who can go over this number, and is certainly, we've seen the Dodgers as of late have a little bit of a problem with the strikeouts. Last night, Wood was able to get 7 strikeouts against him. And Urias is a guy I don't necessarily like to back per se, because he's just so inconsistent. He's seen them twice already, giving up 9 runs and 14 hits in 11 innings. Posey and Wilmer Flores, 2 guys who have good numbers against him if you want to slot them in to your DFS lineups. Posey is back after the injury, and he looks like he's back in the batter's box as well. And Urias isn't a guarantee at home, a 4.27 ERA in 8 starts at home. So to me, I'm potentially looking at the Giants' run line here. The Giants are a team that seemingly covers and plays a lot of one-run games so far this season. And if you're getting an opportunity for a live pitcher, the better bullpen, and a decent lineup at a 1.5 price, then that's probably where I would lean here.
And guys, the Dodgers walking off the Giants last night. We'll actually revisit this game in best bets. But if you're liking the content, please smash that like button. If you're watching on replay, feel free to drop a line below. Let us know what you're betting tonight and why. Any comments on the show, what you liked, what you disliked. We are all ears to make the content better here. So appreciate everybody joining us. And again, always a huge shout out to the chat box. Nathan, Abby, Anthony, Spurman. Beast 51 as well. We appreciate the comments throughout. It has been a live chat box all show long. Now, the moment everyone has been waiting for, best bets. We'll start off here with Matt Joseph, sportsmemo.com. Follow him on Twitter at midmajormatt. He's hot right now, 21-10. His last 30 or so plays in Major League Baseball, 5% winner last night. Again, check him out, sportsmemo.com. Matt, where are you going for best bets?
So my best bet is going to be if when they put the Eric Fetty K-prop out, if it's 4.5, that's my best bet, take the over. But it's not out yet. It may not be out for another couple of hours still, so it's just something to put on your radar. So for this show, I mean, for the third straight time, I'm going to go back to it. I'm taking the Rangers under 4.5 runs for their team total. I mean, I watched that game last night, and I saw a team that's pressing tremendously in the batter's box. Outside of Joey Gallo and Adolis Garcia, there's just not a lot of good hitters in this lineup. Now, the caution is Matt Manning has been terrible. He's not striking guys out. He's given up a lot of home runs. He had bad AAA numbers. So this bet could look horrible in the end, but until I actually see the Rangers do something offensively, I'm going to keep taking the team total under. I watched last night, Funkhauser, Cisnero, and Soto lock down the 7, 8, 9 innings. All I need essentially is 4 or 5 innings from Manning. They've got some decent middle relief and get the game to those 3 guys. Texas has scored just 14 runs over their last 9 games. And you look at this Detroit bullpen, also a sub-1 ERA since the break. And I'm just going to take a chance. This is one of those bets, much like the Marlins team total under, which depending upon what that is, I'll probably end up taking that too. But until I see the Rangers start hitting, especially at a 4.5, I'll take under 4.5 runs for the Rangers as my best bet since Eric Fetty's K-prop isn't out yet.
Okay, I like it, Matt. I really like where your head's at with this. Both the Rangers and the Marlins, kind of same type of profile here. And with the Fetty strikeout prop, because I'll probably be on that with you, do you have a cutoff limit of when you would stop to bet that? I guess when it would be too high?
I mean, I would go a normal bet size on 4.5. I would go a lower bet size on 5.5, only if it's a plus money. I will not be interested in it if it's like 5.5 minus 110 or anything like that. So I'm looking for the 4.5, willing to pay a little bit of juice. If it goes up to 5.5, I would back the bet size down. Also, I would only take it if it's plus money because, you know, it still is Eric Fetty. And as you guys talked about, he's not very good, but the Marlins lineup isn't very good. And Espina only had 3 strikeouts last night. So that's kind of where I'm targeting right now.
Okay, and again, guys, in recap, the best bet for Matt is Rangers under team total of 4.5. Next up, Tony Finn, really bringing the heat here. Tony, the chat box, loving it during the show. Where are you heading for best bets tonight, buddy?
I'm gonna head to the Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants game, as we discussed. I looked at Urias and strayed away from that because of the juice on his strikeout prop, but as Matt described with Webb, he said he was on Webb too as well. And I said I may have mentioned 5.5. It's 4.5, at least at Penny where I just made my investment there. It was over 4.5 plus 114. Which if Matt got even money, then I'm feeling pretty good about my plus 114 on this. And he mentioned also that Webb has a history against the Dodgers, not extensive history, but he's 47 bats this year in his career, 15 strikeouts in the 47. Every single player for the Dodgers, save Justin Turner, has struck out against Webb, including Julio Urias. 1 at bat, 1 strikeout. I like it over 4.5. I like Webb to go again the farthest he's gone since returning from his hiatus, and over 4.5 seems to be a safe investment. I like over 4.5 Webb against the Dodgers.
All right, and I'm staying in the same game, guys. The nightcap tonight, 10:10 Eastern here. Logan Webb, Urias. Last 5 starts for Webb. The team is 5-0, 24 innings, only 3 earned runs. He's been hot right now, 16 hits, only 4 walks and 27 strikeouts. So Logan Webb has been good. Now, Urias a good pitcher overall, but we're getting what the Giants, the best team, I mean, in terms of record-wise in baseball at a plus 139 price here. The slightly better bullpen by my numbers. I'm taking the Giants, guys, in the nightcap to win this series, to win tonight, plus 139, risk 100 to win 139, riding the hot hand of Logan Webb. So in recap here for the best bets, I got the Giants plus 139. We get Matt Joseph's Rangers team total under 4.5, and Tony Finn on Logan Webb, his K prop over 5.5 strikeouts. Chat box, thank you a million. It was live the whole show. For Tony Finn, Mid-Major Matt, I am Drew Martin. Best of luck if you're out there tailing, guys. Please smash that like button on the way out. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Best of luck until then. Thanks for tuning in.
From now until the end of July, all Wager Talk and Sports Memo customers can load as many as 3 and 7-day all-access passes as they want into their shopping cart and take 60% off using coupon code CART60. This coupon code can be used only once at Wager Talk and once at Sports Memo, but there is no limit to the amount of 3 and 7-day all-access passes you can load into your cart when redeeming. Every handicapper is eligible, so take advantage of the biggest discount we have ever offered. And don't forget, coupon code CART60 can only be used once per site and expires when the clock strikes midnight on July 31st.